I'm not sure if you guys recall, former House Speaker for the Republicans, of course, John Boehner. So he had resigned because the Tea Party's influence within the Republican Party was so strong that he resigned because his own party was so dissentful towards him. They were so extreme that even John Boehner had to resign. So he's like a typical conservative, but Ted Cruz and co. basically forced him out because it was during the time of there was a lot of conflict between Congress and the executive branch, the president, trying to decide on the budget. So what would happen is the Republicans would shut down the government because they would not be able to negotiate with the president, and then the approval ratings of the Republicans would drop miserably because they were the reason that the budget wasn't getting passed. And when the budget doesn't get passed and the government shuts down, a lot of the government programs that help American people go away. So they know, and that's why they go down. The things go down. But the Tea Party people didn't care. They're like, screw that. Screw all that. We just want to shut it down. So, it's crazy. But John Boehner, I mean, he seems like a moderate at this point. But here's what they say. He's been attacking Trump. They say, quote, former House Speaker John Boehner gave President Donald Trump's young presidency low marks at an event Wednesday, saying that other than getting the House to pass a health care bill, quote, everything else he's done has been a complete disaster. He's still learning how to be president, Boehner said during an appearance as the keynote speaker for the KPMG Global Energy Conference, according to a recap from Rigzone.com. Boehner also said that his hopes for tax reform has dimmed, calling the preliminary discussions that are going on, quote, just a bunch of happy talk. Quote, I was a little more optimistic about it earlier in the year. Now my odds are 40, sorry. The border adjustment tax is deader than a doornail, he said. Is deader a word? I'm not sure about that one. He said, referencing a controversial plank of the tax plan currently being sketched by House GOP leaders. As for the House successfully passing a bill to repeal and replace Obamacare, Boehner sounded unimpressed. He acknowledged Trump, quote, did what he could, but the former House Speaker said he would have looked to, quote, repair to law instead. Boehner also downplayed concerns over the Russia scandal swirling around the White House, saying investigators, quote, need to get to the bottom of this, but that, quote, impeachment is not a legal process, it's a political process. He said, quote, the crazy left-wing Democrat colleagues of mine bringing up impeachment talks just, quote, rile up Trump supporters. So he later went on to say he doesn't want to be president, and I'm glad because I don't want you to be president either. But it goes to show you really because, you know, Trump isn't that radical in terms of his legislation, which is pretty much non-existent because he hasn't got much passed. So what it shows is that someone like John Boehner, who's a typical conservative, who you would consider like a moderate conservative, is too far to the center from Trump. So it's a very interesting dynamic in how the Tea Party has led to a certain radicalization of the Republican Party. But it's always cool to see Boehner or anybody really trash Trump. But this is very interesting. I don't know why, but it's very intriguing for me. You know, it sparks a lot of activity within my brain. What's up, guys? It's Sawhill here. You guys are watching The Progressive Voice. Make sure you guys click subscribe down below. We're fighting Donald Trump tooth and nail, and we need your help.